Announcing the commencement of the first purge.
I want you to change the world, and don't think that this is going to happen peacefully or you can do it alone. We need to kill the rich. You get out there, you use your weapons, and you rip Washington apart. You hunt down the billionaires, the bank bosses, the CEOs, the scumbags and the liars, the governors, the lobbyists, the senators, because they're all the same, and you hang them.
Just remember all the good the purge does.
Good morning, everyone. It is May 16th, 2018. I am Eric. Here we are at shtfplan.com, a primer on unconventional warfare and tips for SHTF team training from Jeremiah Johnson. Over at Ready Nutrition, we recently covered some subject matter on some basics of how to conduct guerrilla warfare. Let's just say some backyard or background, let's just give some background on actual guerrilla warfare so that you can understand what you're up against and then suggest some tips. Guerrilla warfare is different from conventional warfare in some notable ways that are important for you to know. First, the politics. Yes, politics, plain and simple, because of this basic rule. If you are aligned with a government's policy and mindset concerning conduct of guerrilla operations, you're a patriot, a militiaman, or a freedom fighter, so termed. If you're fighting as an insurgent, then you're a criminal, a traitor, and or a terrorist. There is an important distinction to be understood. Openly fighting against an established government does not automatically afford you treatment according to the Geneva Convention. Most of the time you will be branded as a terrorist or a criminal, and most countries will execute you. And if you're attacked by, let's say, a police department and you manage to defeat them, you kill all of them after they breach your door, well, you will be smeared all over the news as some fucking terrorist, when in fact you are doing nothing more than defending yourself. We're here in the happy hallmark of the in Fisher-Price, United States. What could possibly go wrong and interfere with your summer vacation plans or that new pole you're putting in your backyard, you may ask? Plenty can go wrong. There is one principle I ask you to latch onto, if none other, in this article. The Constitution of the United States of America lists many of your rights, stated and unstated, given to you by God, but it does not promise you that you will keep them, although they are rightfully yours. And that is because the Constitution can be suspended in national emergencies. I'm uploading, or processing rather, a video right now about that. Unconventional fighter. Throughout the years, men and women of courage with strong hands and iron wills have enabled that document, the Constitution, to continue to have meaning, and it does not have authority anymore. If the government should transform itself into a dictatorship, already has, the citizens will have to fight to maintain those rights. Freedom is never free. It was paid for by someone sometime. The guerrilla fighter is better termed an unconventional fighter using Fabian tactics, aka hit and run tactics. The unconventional fighter strikes at the opportune moment. The unconventional warrior has less resources than the government, than a conventional force. Most of the resupply the warrior receives is by his own hand, his own cunning and initiative. Strength of numbers, logistics, and material are not to his advantage. He is outgunned and cannot hope to win a protracted engagement with his enemy's forces in a head-to-head contest. Guerrilla warfare is also important in the event of a foreign invasion by a nation or multiple nations. Conventional forces of our country will not be able to secure the entire country at once. There will be areas that are occupied by foreign soldiers. And by the way, we are already being occupied by foreign soldiers. These foreign troops will not look upon you as heroic freedom fighters. They will see you as an obstacle to their occupation and conquest, and if captured, you will face torture, imprisonment, slave labor, execution, or a combination of any of these. In this light, a totalitarian government or an occupying invader both pose the same danger to you. So what can you do? You can prepare by training. Citizen soldiers is really a nice concept when you're in the Independence Day parade with little three-cornered caps and on all the kids' heads, made in China, of course, where nobody has any weapons, and the only battle is the battle of the floats and the bands, commemorating events that have the significance, pageantry by mean not a whole lot more. Yeah, I fucked up that word bad. It's pageantry. Okay. A surreal fantasia instead of what is real. A parade, not a field training exercise to go outside of the comfort zone and sacrifice the delicious backyard barbecue. There is no desire to go out in the woods and lay in the mud and grass training while being bitten by bugs and rained on. Here's what you can do. Train as a citizen soldier who may be called upon in either the first scenario or the second to liberate the land and place it under constitutional governance once again. I roll my eyes to that word, governance. Number 1, physical and mental training. A weak mind is usually the result of a weak body, and vice versa. You must train both body and mind to a high state of physical and mental health. Number 2, tactics. Pursue the archives, and I've listed many manuals from the United States Army that you will find useful in learning the basics, the infantry field manual, and the Ranger handbook. Number 3, language. Foreign languages are very important and can make the difference between victory or defeat, as with the Navajo code talkers during World War II. In that same war, the Italian Americans and German Americans and the American kids with one or both parents born in those nations who grew up speaking it in the home. If it wasn't for these first-generation kids in military intelligence and in the units, we may have lost that war. The point, learn Spanish, learn Russian, learn some Chinese. Language can be a powerful tool and even a weapon of deception. For some pop culture affirmation, look at the original Red Dawn. When the kids attack the base, the Spanish-American kid runs into the enemy tent dressed as an enemy or in an enemy uniform and confuses the Cubans and Russians, luring them out into the ambush. Number 4. Skills of a woodman or woodsman. Learn the terrain where you live. The wooded areas, cliffs, valleys, rivers, and lakes. Learn how to navigate through the wild on foot and on a vehicle. In all of the seasons, learn to camp, hike, fish. Learn about the edible plants and berries and wild game in the area. Learn how to tie knots, how to start a fire, how to build a lean-to, smoke fish, and wild game. Learn how to live off the land, how to track, how to camouflage yourself. Number 5, teamwork. Train and fight as a team with your family, friends, and close neighbors. Learn how to discuss the plan and how to negotiate and how to task organize. This last task organization has a great deal to do with assessing individual skills and placing the best and most qualified person into that slot that's needed, such as a team sniper, communications expert, or medic. Cross-training. Learn other fields and disciplines, well-round yourself in all fields. History. Study to show yourself approved. Study to show yourself approved, especially the study part. The approval usually comes in the performance. Know history because it repeats itself. How did Francis Marion, the Swamp Fox, deal with the British regulars in the American Revolution War? How did the Viet Cong deal with the United States Army? For this last one, read the Tunnels of Chu Chi for those answers. This also includes study of the Founding Fathers, how your government originally came to be, not as it's presented. Hook up with a veteran. That veteran can show you much. What was learned was earned. Make it worth their while. Do something for them. It's worth it to you to gain skills and knowledge, but everyone wants them for free and paid for by someone else. That knowledge is not an entitlement, so give them more than just the BS. I thank you for your service. What this comes down to is knowledge being power. Remember, the Founding Fathers of this country were all criminals in the eyes and words of the British Empire and King George III. Had the revolution faltered, they wouldn't have received amnesty or leniency as freedom fighters, but instead would have been hung as criminals, terrorists, and traitors. But the revolution didn't fail, and they gave us a government of, by, and for the people. They did not. Benjamin Franklin was asked what type of government was created by signing the Constitution. His reply was, a republic, if you can keep it. I would like to point out that a republic is no better than any other government and is still susceptible to extreme corruption, as can be seen in virtually every single republic on this planet and every single republic that existed before. Now, if we do end up fighting against the government, I strongly suggest that you do not use standard textbook military tactics, because that is exactly what they expect. You really need to think outside the box and do very, very unconventional things in order to win. Thought I'd share this with y'all. Hope you have a good day. And remember, kill the state before it kills you.